Okay, let's move on to the next game I want to look at, which is Gashimov against Carlsen. And Carlsen managed to win and blank out Gashimov 2-0. This is a curious game because right until I'm just gonna get to this position. This has all been played before. I don't know if the players realise this, but up until this move, the players were following a game between Van der Wiel and Kaif, two Dutch players from 1990, 21 years ago, which after this move and trading and here was actually agreed a draw. But Carlsen played bishop d8 instead, which a massive improvement. I somehow doubt very much whether he knew of the existence of that game. But there's no doubt in my mind that black is better in this position because he has a better minor piece. Bishops are stronger than knights when play is on two wings. Okay, let's have a look and see how Carlsen managed to squeeze a win out of this position. Well, the other thing that black has going for him is that he has a nice queenside pawn majority, a very healthy pawn chain. It gives him a space advantage in the centre, and you can see that white's king isn't as good as black's. Black's has the chance to move forward behind these pawns quite quickly, whereas it's not so easy for white's king. So black is definitely better in this position. Okay, let's zip through. I haven't had a chance to analyse this game at all, but I just want to show you the contours of the game, if you like. But yeah, I mean, I think Carlsen played this extremely well. Okay, so this is very nice indeed. So he's going to break here, and in that way his rook gets to a... Well, we've now got split pawns here. Okay, here we go. So this is starting to be most unpleasant for Gashimov, and the king comes up. Okay, not so easy to advance these pawns. Let's see what happened. Let's get to the critical moment. Okay, so c3 was played. Well, there's a threat to take here. I mean, I don't suppose you really want to be passive here. Let's zip through. So we have a very typical situation where the bishop is simply better than a knight here when both sides have passed pawns, because the bishop can not only control squares on this side, but for example it's dominating that knight. The knight squares here are dominated. Oh, I've got too much paint on the board, 1 second. Let me just clear off some colour. You can see that the bishop dominates the knight. Even covers this square as well. Lao Tse says 31.95. Was that possible? Let's have a look. 31.95. Is that a massive improvement? If anyone was watching this and saw huge improvements for Gashimov, do let me know. As I said, I haven't had a chance to analyse this game. I just witnessed this game shortly before coming on air, really. This was one of the last to finish. Is 95 an improvement? Well, let me see. Well, my first question is, why can't I simply take that and take a pawn? That's something. That gives black the advantage. Or could I simply play rook here with a nasty pin and then take the pawn? Don't know, it doesn't look like a huge improvement. Let's get to this endgame. So, sorry, this endgame once again. Let's just see how the game finished. Yeah, this is very nasty indeed. There's rook here. That's an interesting move. Okay, what happens if b2? So white has to take. Now, if pawn here, I guess you could just play rook here, and that seems alright. What about, maybe h4 instead. So I'm thinking out loud here, guys. I guess, yeah, this is probably dangerous. Okay, so okay, that's another way for black to play. But okay, rook d2 is typical. Okay, so you want to try and get this one out and then queen. Alright, so this looks normal. This is the other problem, of course, that the knight doesn't have a decent support. Again, very typical when rook and bishop play against rook and knight. Okay, king here and rook here. Okay, now could white do any better in this position? Okay, this looks nasty. I mean, I know that the move that was played in the game, rook h6, this is definitely losing after this move. And yeah, we can see what a fantastic long-range piece the bishop is. Going from one side of the board to the other, holding these pawns, and now, well, okay, you don't even need the bishop here. You can simply cruise through. Okay, was there any improvement for white in this position? Is there nothing else to do? Yeah, very difficult. Well, okay, again, in practical terms, I think white is lost in these kind of positions.